Does that title scare you? Allergies and intolerances. The only thing that I ever thought about when you hear about intolerances was lactose intolerance. I know because if I drink milk, I am nauseated. That's me. I don't know how many people also have to endure that. But then there are allergies. Is it possible for people to have allergies and not know that they have allergies? Well, let's have that conversation this morning with our guests, who is Dr. Bisola Kadiku, naturopath and doctor of natural medicine. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Perhaps we should begin with some definitions.
Yeah.
Food allergies, intolerances. What are we talking about?
They're two different things.
Oh.
Yes. A food allergy is the immune system's reaction to certain foods. That's food allergy. Food intolerance is a condition in which a person is unable to digest certain foods.
Oh. Okay. I'm trying to make sense of that. How do you know that your body cannot digest something?
We have symptoms that range from diarrhea to even more severe conditions. If you can't tolerate certain foods or you can't digest certain foods, you find out that within 30 minutes to 2 hours of eating these foods, you have symptoms like heartburn, diarrhea, headaches. Yeah. And it stays there. And if you do not do anything about it over the years, it begins to affect your organs, your digestive system.
Just to be clear, is it food intolerance when people eat something and maybe 48 hours after they see it in their, in their feces?
Yes, it could be.
Oh.
It means that you're not digesting it well, so you're not able to break it down. For instance, let's talk about lactose intolerance. It's either you're born with that genetic disorder whereby you lack an enzyme called lactase. Okay. So you cannot digest it, or you grow into it. People actually grow into it.
How?
Because, as you grow older, that enzyme depletes in certain people. Okay. So people will say that I was doing well taking milk when I was younger.
Yes, I was.
And now, all of a sudden, I cannot digest it any longer.
I nauseate.
Mm-hmm. So you have nausea, you sometimes vomit, you have diarrhea, you just have a disorder in your digestive system generally. That's how you know that you have an intolerance to that food.
So I am assuming that lactose intolerance is not the only intolerance.
No, it's not. We also have something called a casein intolerance.
Speak English.
Okay. Lactose, both are found in milk.
Okay.
Lactose is the sugar found in milk. Casein is the protein found in milk. So you take milk, for instance, as a layman, and then you begin to react. And you say, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. No, it doesn't have to be lactose. It could be the casein. It could be that you can tolerate the lactose, but you cannot tolerate the casein. So I allow you to say, I'm lactose intolerant.
So long as you know you are intolerant of something.
Of that milk.
I've also heard about Gluten intolerance.
Yes,
What is that?
Thank you. You see, that is the one that I'm campaigning against a lot.
Oh.
And I'm creating an awareness in Nigeria because I am a victim. And it is so serious and common that, I think we should bring it into an awareness, because all over the world now, there is a great awareness. Gluten is a protein found in foods like rye, barley, and wheat. You see, I put wheat to the last because I want to shock a lot of people. You may not be able to tolerate the wheat that you're eating, and you don't even know it because you are not gut sensitive to it. All right, gut is your digestive system.
That's GUT.
GUT.
Okay.
So the gut is that that long rope, I would call, right from your esophagus to your colon. So it includes your small intestine, your large intestine, your
stomach, and the rest of them.
Yes, your stomach. And you become sensitive to this food called gluten when you eat it. So it gives you a lot of heartburn. It gives you diarrhea, sometimes constipation, a headache. It's like poison spreading all over your body.
But just to bring this home very quickly, because we're just talking about intolerances now, we haven't even spoken about allergies. So, and I'm also assuming that you can't just go to the market and buy gluten. They are contained in foods, right?
Yeah, they are contained in foods.
Okay, so in what kinds of foods do we have them?
I've just said it, wheat.
Wheat?
Wheat is the most common. Rye is not something everybody eats. Barley is found in malt drinks.
Okay.
Some countries, they use barley in their beer, in their beers. I hear Nigeria doesn't use that, so the beer drinkers are, they can rejoice, But in wheat. So think about all wheat-based foods.
Such as the swallows themselves, right?
I'm talking about bread.
Bread?
I'm talking about pastries. I'm talking about pasta. Anything that contains wheat. You see, the sad thing about it is that many people are sensitive, but like I said, they are not gut sensitive. So if you're gut sensitive, you're one of the very lucky ones, because within 30 minutes, you begin to feel the discomfort. Within 30 minutes of eating it, you begin to feel the discomfort. So your senses will tell you, look, I better stop eating this. It's so uncomfortable. I can tell you, because like I said, I'm one of the people that are gut sensitive to it. I cannot even take cakes. Not even a bit of it. It's like poison in my body.
How does it feel? We've spoken about lactose intolerance, nausea, and all those things. What are the symptoms? Because people maybe have been having this condition and not even know what it is.
I just said it. It starts usually with a heartburn.
Okay.
Some people have told me, some patients have walked into my clinic telling me that, I don't know, I eat something, I don't know what it is, and I get heartburns. I get, it's like my whole system is in disarray. I get a feeling of having ulcer. I get pain in my stomach. I don't know what food it is. And I say, okay, let's go over all the foods that you eat. So they start with the most suspicious ones, and then we break it down to, I just ask a question. Do you eat bread? And they're like, oh, of course, I've been eating bread since I was little. It's bread. I said, that's your problem.
Bread.
And they're like, what? Bread? But even bread is in the Bible. I said, I don't know what bread is in the Bible, but that is your problem. So I tell them, I'm not going to give you any medication. You go home in 1 month, avoid these foods, and come back to me and tell me if you still have these symptoms. And usually it's amazing. And you know what? Even their medical conditions improve. And they're like, I don't believe it. So they go around and campaign against gluten. You see, it's a serious matter that all over the world now, well, when I say all over the world, in countries where I have been to lately, they have foods for us. So you walk into your regular coffee shop and you want cookies, and I can confidently ask them, do you have gluten-free cookies? And they're like, yes, we do. So they take care of people like us. In the UK, 2 months ago, my cousin called me and said, you won't believe what is going on here. There is a fair where bakers are displaying goods that are gluten-free. So someone like me can eat bread again. Someone like me can eat cookies, but they're all gluten-free.
How serious is that problem in our country?
It is so serious that people come down with diseases like cancer, like diabetes, and usually they can't trace it to it because it's either they're not gut sensitive or they are, but they just can't trace it to the gluten. It is a serious problem.
Wow. Well, it's looking like a topic for a seminar on its own. But let's talk about one or two other things. I mean, you've spoken about allergies as well.
Allergies, yes.
What are those allergies? What are allergies, and how do people get sensitive to them? I think the instructive word this morning is sensitivity. We don't seem to I mean, as you said, we've been having these meals for a million years, and all of a sudden I should stop. So how do I identify things that I'm allergic to?
You eat the food, and like I said, within 30 minutes to 2 hours of eating the food, you get symptoms from skin rashes to itching to respiratory tract disorder. Yes, some won't even be able to breathe. You know, some people eat shellfish, for instance, and in 30 minutes they react. They have swollen lips. They have swollen eyes. They have tears coming down. Coming out of their eyes. You know, they end up in the hospitals. Sometimes it's actually severe, even dangerous. You know, so life-threatening sometimes, and yes, that's how you know. You can easily trace an allergy.
So
it's easy to trace an allergy.
Great. So what people call food poisoning sometimes could just be an allergy.
Yes. Yes. You're just allergic to it, to that food you've eaten.
Because everyone else eats it, and it's just when they bring the drum to you, you can't dance.
Yes. So it's your immune system that is reacting to it. Don't ask me how you get there. It's just like asking me how you got an autoimmune disorder. You know, people, no doctor, and we don't know where, we can't trace it. Why people come down with autoimmune diseases. Some we can trace, you know, that's a natural medicine. We say it's a leaky gut syndrome, you know, which you tell me to speak English very soon. Okay, so, but yes, I mean, autoimmune diseases cannot be traced.
So you talked about autoimmune diseases now, and a number of people would look at immunotherapy perhaps as some way of reversing this, right?
No. You see, when you have a breakdown in your immune system, then we can talk about immunotherapy. But when you have an autoimmune breakdown, there's nothing we can do. We can't trace it, like I said. But you see, for instance, somebody has, let's talk about COVID. We know that COVID was actually, a symptom of a breakdown in immune system. Yeah, I mean, the reason why natural medicine, though people may not want to admit it, the reason why we were able to treat and treat successfully is because we were able to trace it to the immune system, and we were able to do successful immunotherapy. So yes, you can for diseases like that, you can try immunotherapy, not for autoimmune diseases. You
But
can't.
I mean, even every medical practitioner then even told us that, look, in order to protect yourself from COVID, boost your immune system.
Exactly, exactly.
So
So,
that
I
really
mean, that
isn't.
one is simple and straightforward. But autoimmune diseases, require even, more,
Okay. So
more attention.
so what are there remedies, natural remedies for allergies or intolerances?
Yeah, keep
Okay.
away from the foods.
Oh,
That's all.
but I love the food.
I'm sorry. Keep away from the foods. Keep away.
You,
That's the only remedy. Well, in other fields, in other medical fields, they try to give you certain medications. But you see, my argument is that it's destroying your system. Why continue eating it? It is destroying your system. Keep away from it. I have kept away from wheat-based foods for many years now, and I see that, I have a better health condition, and I'm coping. Like I said, the world is taking care of us now. There's so many flours out there that don't contain gluten. We have almond flour, we have coconut flour, we have so many flours, oat flour. I bake biscuits with oat flour, and I get by. I get by. I'm able to eat what other people can eat now. Um, I have I have a baker who bakes a gluten-free cake for me. So I'm able to eat cake, but I won't come to your party to eat your cake. But I can eat my cake at home.
okay. Perhaps also to advise, we have just a few. I'd like you to give us some counsel. The first time you were here, which was the first episode, I think, of this lifestyle, you talked about superfoods and talked about things that people can do to help themselves stabilize, boost immune system, and prevent some of these things that we're talking about. If you could reiterate some of those things, what are the things that you would advise that people should prioritize in terms of preventing any of these onslaughts against their bodies?
Okay, we talked about boosting the immune system. When you have a good immune system, and when your body is less acidic, of course, you don't encourage diseases. So, what are the foods that help to boost your immune system? We have fruits and vegetables, of course. Eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, 7 servings a day. People say 5 servings, but we've raised the bar. We say 7 servings. So I take a lot of herbal teas. Herbal teas are good. It helps to boost your immune system, like green tea. Occasionally, I take the oregano tea to cleanse my body. Help your liver by taking dandelion tea. Eat a lot of greens. It's very important. And eat less animal foods. In this part of the world, I see how people just load their plates with animal foods. Wow.
It's a
It's
sign
like
of,
a sign of, yes, I have arrived.
yes,
Yes.
the big size, the big
Yes.
turkey, big
Yes.
chicken,
Yes.
big meat.
That's why we have a lot of big men and women visiting us. It's not a good sign of, eating healthy is a sign of affluence, I must say.
But speaking of meat, there are those talk about lean meat, white meat, and all those things. What do all those mean? How does it affect anything?
Okay, lean meat is very good because it has the vitamin B12, vitamin Bs generally, but a lot of vitamin B12, which is required uh, for your body to grow and to prevent diseases. Now, some people stay away from meat, and I'm like, who asked you to stay away from meat? Do you have a heart problem? Do you? This is what the doctor told me. Well, I don't know. Is your doctor a nutritionist? Why
Okay,
would he tell you to stay
just
away
to be
from
clear,
meat?
when you talk about meat, what kind of meat are we talking
Lean
about?
meat. I'm talking about lean meat.
Describe lean meat.
Lean meat doesn't have any fat in it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it doesn't have any fat in it. So you cut off all the fat in your meat, and then you can eat it. You can eat it safely.
Okay, so when the doctors, as you say now, say that people should not take red meat or lean meat or whatever they get. I've heard about red meat as well. Please describe, what does that? What does all that mean? Don't eat meat so that you don't have cancer and all those things. I think that's something else.
I should ask you.
I know.
Meanwhile, we say eat your meat, eat it safely, eat the lean meat so that you can prevent cancer.
But then, so where did all that come from? There's those who say, it came from what doctors tell people.
All right, it came from, you know how they rear cows. I always talk about this. You know how they rear the cows abroad. They confine them to a field and they give them food that mutates their DNA.
Oh.
But we don't really get that here in Nigeria. Our cows are allowed to graze, so they eat the good food, and so our meat is safe to eat.
Okay. So we can eat meat here.
Yes, I said that.
Irrespective of any.
Yes, please eat meat.
Okay.
Eat meat.
Okay.
Eat it reasonably.
Okay. How about young people? Anything specifically or special that they should be considering as they grow old?
Yes, they should consider staying off fast foods. They should, because
Fast foods.
yes, because fast foods, like I say, most of them contain gluten because they are wheat-based. They are wheat-based. So many times I'm hungry and I want to jump into your regular fast food restaurant. I always have to ask for rice because I can't eat the pastries. And most of them can't tolerate the pastries, but they are eating it. They don't even know because they are not gut sensitive to it. And also, fast foods contain a lot of preservatives and food colorings, and that is not good to the body system.
What does it do?
It poisons your body system up. It's like MSG, which I talked about the last time. So you want to stay away from it as much as possible.
So how are we going to have fun? I mean, we don't eat, these pastries are not food. We just want to enjoy,
I don't know how to answer that question, but I have fun. I have fun. I'm not about to put the restaurants out of business, but I'm just saying that they should be mindful and use less preservatives. I once had a cook come over to cook for me, and I don't know, she put a lot of MSG in my food because it was a party. I was cooking for all, and I said to her, cook some food for me to keep at home. And when I went back to the food, I realized that I couldn't even eat it because it was loaded with MSG. So they can use less of it or none at all. It's possible, so that we don't have issues.
Okay. There are just one other issue. There's just one other issue among several others that we may not be able to talk about today. And those who believe that, they can detoxify. And if they detoxify, doesn't it take away all these things you talk about that we eat and then will detoxify to take away the toxins from the body?
Okay, if you can target it in a way that you detoxify before it damages your organs, because the detoxification is not going to help you when your organs are damaged already.
Did you plan to be nice today? I'm just, because all the things is like, you guys should just stay in your kitchens and don't go out. We have to eat. Farm to table is very expensive. Don't you think so?
No, I don't think so.
There are those who wonder, look, these foods that you're recommending, farm to table, it's very good, but it's very expensive. What do you say to them?
Well, it depends on what your preferences are. Do you know I can make a meal out of corn? Just boiled corn. And there's this fruit that they call pear. Yes. I can make a meal out of it. That's a meal. How much is that? Is that expensive? How much is yam compared to all the fast foods that you get out there? So it's cheaper, even in this part of the world, for you to cut up your yam and then eat it at home than go to the fast foods restaurants to eat.
Essentially, all of these are supposed to help us prevent diseases, especially diseases like cancer. You mentioned that the other time I used to say
diabetes and high blood pressure, because if you're in the habit of eating out, you can control the kind of salt and the amount of salt that you ingest. So, and that affects people with high blood pressure.
Okay, I have to say that we have taken some lessons today, and I'm expecting reactions, no doubt. For now, I have to thank you again for being here. Don't worry, we'll hopefully be able to bring you in from time to time to come and bust our bubbles and change our lifestyles. Dr. Bisola Kadiku, naturopath and doctor of natural science, thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. We'll return after now, and it's time for the home stretch. Do stay with us.